everybody. Thank you for joining me today. This is Alvin J, the most passionate non-doctor on the internet. You guys know what we're going to talk about today. Maybe not, maybe you do, but I'm probably guessing you don't. We're going to talk about depression. Now, depression is a condition, okay, so that many people are dealing with, millions of people are dealing with, and they're taking medications for. But let's not jump right into it. Let me give you a famous example, because you knew I would. But there's been a famous actor who has been in the news, and it's happened about over a year ago, to where, and maybe not even a year, but Robin Williams actually committed suicide, and they think the main cause was depression. Now, I don't know the details of his life. I don't know what the man did. I just know that he was a great actor. He was a great man while he was here. He was a great father, and he also did some tremendous things on the screen. He started off at Mork and Mindy, all right? He was a stand-up comedian, and then he went on to do such great projects like Good Will Hunting, and if you guys have not seen it, get on Netflix and watch a movie called The Angriest Man in Brooklyn. It's one of the most best character pieces driven by an actor I have ever seen in my life, but it was a great movie. Take a look at it. A little vulgar, but it works. But I just wanted to show you, this affects people of all levels. Don't think it's just you. There are many celebrities. If you look them up online right now, go to your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, and you look up some celebrities who are dealing with depression issues. You are not by yourself. Now, first of all, let me just tell you this. Just because you have a bad day, a bad week, a couple of bad months, that does not mean you have depression. You could just have a job. None of us like that, right? And you get up and do that every day. So minor suffering over an extended period of time, not depression. Depression is and I hate saying this, clinically diagnosed, all right, when you have to go to the doctor or a psychiatrist and have them diagnose you with depression. Now, I don't believe in all that. I just believe that depression is a physical or psychological event that happens to a person where they feel subdued. Now, that could be psychologically, and when I say physically means internally physically. I don't mean somebody has their elbow on your neck, all right? They don't have their boot on your neck. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about inside your cells feel depressed or down because you feel down, right? Yeah, what your cells do on a smaller level is what you ultimately do on a macro or large level, right? All right, so now we can get down to the seriousness. Now, some of you might ask, what is this thing that we call depression? Well, I just explained it a little bit, but depression can be twofold, all right? Now, it has to do with two major parts of your body, being the brain and the second brain. Now, some of you are saying, what is the second brain? Alvin J, please enlighten me. I will. And simply put, it's your gut, your digestive system, your intestines, the stuff you shove food through, you know, that McDonald's, that Taco Bell, the Red Hot Cheetos, the Red Hot Riplets, right? You know, all this good stuff we like to eat on Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holidays, anytime we get to a weekend, all right? We're eating these foods and shoving it through our second brain. Well, why do you call it that? Because in your digestive system or in your digestive tract, there is something called a microbiome, a neighborhood of trillions of bacteria that are actually helping you to digest these foods, and guess what? Producing necessary neurotransmitters for you to enjoy a sane and healthy brain state and a non-depressed life. Doesn't that sound good? All right, you got little guys down there helping you. Employees, they're actually in your gut there, and they're helping you out. Guess what? You don't even have to pay them. Isn't that great? See what I'm telling you? But let's get on to the next point here, because I want to get to some of the seriousness, okay? The seriousness of this, because really, what some of you are doing is you're comparing. You're comparing your depression to somebody else's depression when that cannot possibly be the case. You see, depression, just like any other medical condition, is individualized to you. You remember when I told you that blood pressure is individualized? People are still going to the doctor and trying to fit themselves into a chart on the doctor's wall that says you should be somewhere around 120/80. That's bullshit. It should not be, and this is no different. Do not compare your depression or your condition, whatever you've been diagnosed with anybody else's. Let me tell you why. You have different blood chemistry. You have different tissue composition. You have different physiological set points. You have different hormone pattern distributions. Yours are set to you alone, and that's why most medications won't work for you. No matter how strong they are, no matter if they're experimental and coming down the pipe, no matter if you take 2 or 3 of them, all right? It's going to damage you because you have an organ called the liver. I should have said an organ called the liver, and your liver is going to clean those medications out. But before it does, that interaction with your digestive system is going to cause something called a byproduct. Byproducts are normally to us poisons, and because it is a poison, your body doesn't know what to do with it. So what is it going to do? It's going to store it in your fat cells. Now, before it does that, it has to make its way to your fat cells, and on the way, it does damage. All right, namely destroying your intestinal tract. Now, is that going to kill some of the good bacteria that you had down there? Yeah. Is it going to rip holes into your large and small intestine? Yeah. It's what we call leaky gut. And it sounds innocuous. It sounds harmless almost, all right? And they say they're going to give you a water pill, all right? Even that sounds innocuous. But the water pill that you take to repair your digestive tract, or what they try to give you to treat your digestive tract, is only going to put further and bigger holes, ulcers, into your digestive system. Do not believe anything any doctor tells you about this, okay? I'm telling you because I've done the research and I've repaired my own. You see, I used to have terrible abdominal pains, and I know my students always say, Mr. Jackson, you've had all of this crap happen to you, and I'm more than willing to show you the doctor stuff because I keep everything. But I did have a lot of stuff going wrong with my body before I started getting on the healthy train, doing my own research, and finding out what was interfering with my healthy lifestyle, the one that I wanted. I want to go out and have fun. At 80, 90 years old, I want to jump out of a plane. At 80, 90 years old, I want to be behind a boat, you know, water skiing. I want to do all of that, hoverboarding, and all, you know. I do not think that age should dictate what you do in your life that you want to do. But most people see retirement as laying back and kicking back and taking it easy, enjoying the 40% of the money you used to make. See, people think when they retire, they're going to live it up. No, you're not. More than likely, your money's going to go down, and now you're going to have to accommodate to a lifestyle that you were accustomed to living before, and that in itself may cause you depression. Just an example. All right, so let's try to get back on the happy train here. All right, now, they might have you taking some pills, and I had them written down here somewhere, but I don't think I remember. Let me see if I remember. Zoloft, Prozac, Celexa, and Paxil. Those are the drugs that that are most prescribed for depression. Now, I'm going to say stay away from that shit because it is going to mess you up. It's going to do a job on your intestinal tract, and you're going to have these intestinal problems that I am severely worried about. You know why I'm so concerned about your digestive tract being in good health? Not only did I say it was your second brain, it secretes your happy hormone. You know what that is, right? Serotonin. And if serotonin is secreted from your digestive tract, of which 90, depending on what book you read, 90 to 95% of serotonin comes from your digestive system. So wait a minute, you thought that if I fix my head, which is what actually the pills are trying to do, they're trying to block the absorption of serotonin so that it builds up in your blood, and when the pill wears off, you have a bunch of it available, so it is immediately sucked into your brain, and now you have a happy mood. Well, how long do you think that can last? Well, when the pill wears off, the serotonin goes into your brain, and now you have none in your blood, so there's no more being produced. So what do? You take another pill, it blocks the receptors again, now you have a buildup of serotonin, meaning that you have to perpetually take the pill and let it destroy your intestinal tract, and that's how your medical system is trying to fix the problem, okay? Now, if we keep taking the pill is going to destroy your intestinal tract, and when it does, you can no longer produce the 90 to 95% of the serotonin, your happy hormone, that you require, right? All right, it makes sense. See, if you know about this stuff, it makes sense. All right, so do not let anybody tell you anything different than that. But I'm going to show you how to fix, all right, this problem. All right. Now, first of all, let's get on to the let's see the parts of the system here that we're going to deal with. Now, remember, if you get depression and you start undergoing these chemical changes that go to the negative side, you're going to affect your brain, you're going to affect your muscles, you're going to affect your soft tissues, your mucous membranes, all right, the insides of your mouth there, and your nerve cells. Nerve cells should not be affected in this way, but they are by depression, and even more so by the depression medications that you are taking. Now, when we say nerve cells, that should have triggered something. Have you ever heard of something called dementia? Have you ever heard of something called brain damage? Have you ever heard of Asperger's syndrome? How about autism? All things that affect the brain negatively tear it down so that your memory loss is severely great at an extremely early age. Do you get what I'm saying now? When I'm pointing out things that you guys should be recognizing by trying out some of the things that I'm telling you that work. Now, I'm telling you it works for me. I can't say it works for everybody. All right, for most people, yeah, it will. But I can't say it works for everybody, because if I do, I would insinuate that we're all the same internally when we're not. Okay, we're all human beings, but all things don't work equally. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you guys some solutions to help you remedy this stuff here. Okay, let's get the remedies going here. Now, I have my own solutions. I'm not going to take anything out of anybody else's book. I'm not going to take anything I've read off the internet. I'm not even going to take it from medical journals. I'm going to only take it from what I've tried personally on my body. First, number one, what I've seen affect my brain the most. All right, in person here now. The first thing I do is a saline wash. You guys know what that is. You've watched the other video. I'm going to pop it up right here so you guys can see it. Now, that video entails 1 liter of water, 1 tablespoon of uniodized sea salt or Himalayan pink salt, all right, 1 tablespoon, dump it in, mix it up, drink it, all right? I did it in the video, so that means you should too. All right, good stuff. Not really. But what I'm going to tell you is the saline salt solution will get rid of about 80% of your depression. Just from doing that, nothing else. Why? Because the salt will break down all the gunk that's stuck to the sides of your small and large intestine. It'll carry those mucoid plaques out of your small and large intestine. And guess what? Now you can absorb the nutrients that were in your food. See, what you fail to realize is that your intestinal tract, you've been using it since you've been born, since you've been eating. Therefore, you've got stuff over decades that you know, if you guys are 60 years old, that's 6 decades, all right, of stuff that could be stuck to your wall, and the salt breaks that down, blows up your intestine, and forces that stuff out, so that now we have clean intestinal walls in which to absorb these vitamins and minerals that I'm going to prescribe for you next. Okay, now take that, scratch that, no prescribing. Okay, I'm not a doctor. All right, how about I recommend? Okay, so Alvin J recommends. Okay, so just for me. Now try it out if you think it'll work for you. I'm not telling anybody out there to do anything. I'm saying I tried it, it worked for me, and it'll work for most people. And if you have the huevos to try it, then do it. Okay, now these are the minerals that I'm going to have you guys take. If you got the I'm saying if you got the money, because it's kind of expensive. If you got the money, all right, it's about 130 bucks. If you buy something called a healthy starter pack from I think the company is Longevity, and they got something called 90 for life. Now, I've actually put people recommended that people do this. And because I did it for myself, of course. Remember, I only recommend for myself, and then people try what I've done. All right, I don't prescribe or tell anybody to do anything. I'm not a doctor. Remember that. Okay, but when you actually look at this pack that's put together, it has all of your essential minerals, vitamins, proteins, nutrients. All right, that's what we need in order to survive. You see, you don't eat for calories. You eat for nutrients that can be delivered to your vital organs. You see, doesn't that make sense? Doesn't that make sense? So that's what I'm going to first have you do. All right, healthy starter pack. It's called the 90 for life. All right, healthy starter pack, and it's got 3 components to it. It's about 130 bucks altogether. They'll ship it right to your door. You can start taking it by the recommendations that are given on the back of the bottles. Okay, now I'm out of mine. I think I switched to another thing because it's cheaper, which I'm about to give you. Now, if you don't want to do the 90 for life and it's too expensive, I got other stuff here for you. Now, what I recommend is you guys do something. I'm going to recommend 4 things for you. All right, and this might cost a total of maybe 80 to 100 bucks depending on the brand that you get. All right, but it's a lot cheaper. 80 is cheaper than 130. All right, so we're 50 bucks off there. All right, now take a look at this. I always say Andrew Lessman's Essential 1 multivitamin, okay? That one, magnanimous, because what happens is it's water soluble, fat soluble, easily absorbed into the system, starts working immediately. The second one I got is Mary Ruth's Vegan Nighttime Multi-Mineral. Now, that one I just got in my refrigerator right now. I showed you that in one of the 2 videos ago. I showed you the bottle that I actually had there. But that tastes, I mean, it tastes amazing, and it has some of the other ones. So when you put the Essential 1 and the Mary Ruth's Vegan Nighttime Multi-Mineral together, what happens is you get most of the 60 minerals that you need, you get most of the 12 amino acids that you need, and you get the rest of the nutrients that you need, okay? So, fantastic, and it's a less price. Now, what I advise that you pile on top of that is something called B complex. All right, no, do not just go get vitamin B1, B2, B3, all right, all the way up to B12, and they even got a B17. Get those all in one complex. It's cheaper and it's just as effective. So don't feel like you got to spend all this money, because if you buy each individual bottle of each individual B complex, you're gonna be out of like $800. All right, it's expensive. So don't do that. Get the B complex. It's like I think it's like $12 to $17 depending on the brand. All right, not that expensive. And on top of that, all right, you got a B complex in there. I need you doing vitamin D. Okay, I need you doing vitamin D, especially if you're pregnant. Okay, if you're pregnant, you need 3 times the amount of all of these. So you might have to, if you're pregnant, you might have to do 3 healthy starter packs, because your baby is actually going to be lacking nutrients, especially if you're depressed. Okay, so that's the alternatives that I have for you all as far as mineralization. So remember, Essential 1 from Andrew Lessman, Mary Ruth's Vegan Nighttime Multi-Mineral, and then you're going to do a B complex and then a vitamin D. All right, that's basically what you need, because all the other stuff, and I'm advocating those above and beyond the other 2, because I want you to kind of get more of those, because B, just think of this, B stands for blood. All right, it helps with your neurotransmitters and getting vital enzymes and hormones to go to your brain and be effective when they actually get there. Okay, now we're not going to talk about any other thing but depression, and that's what I've been concentrating on. But let's go to the psychological side. I want you, if you are depressed, I do not want you to stay by yourself. Did you hear me? If you are depressed, I do not want you to stay by yourself. Okay, now, if you live by yourself, I want you to go out in the crowd. I want you to talk to people, the 1 or 2 friends that you got, if that is the case, because usually when you're depressed, you tend to distance your friends, and then you don't have friends anymore. So, if that is the case, I want you to go out, meet new people, get on social media, don't get catfished. Okay, so get on social media and start talking to people. I don't need you to meet anybody. I just need you to talk to people. I need you to keep a human contact. And I don't mean writing emails and texting back and forth. That's electronic bull that a human being cannot use as interaction. You need to interact with a human being. Even if it's face-to-face on a screen, that can be misconstrued by your brain because it doesn't know the difference as human contact. That's what you need. And that will secrete the serotonin that's in your brain, the 10 to 5%, right? It's just a little bit in your brain. That's the psychological half. The physical half, 90% is going to happen in your gut, and that's why I always recommend the supplementation and the washing out of the colon so you can absorb those minerals. Okay, so let's get down to the wrap up here, because as far as the bonus, let me throw one in here for you. All right, now I've been kind of going along and trying to find out what works for most conditions and what super protocol I can put together to get or remedy most any disease on the face of this planet. Now, I found out through some of my research some things that I can bring to you in this video. Now, I've been studying something called lectins that I found out that actually I have come across about 8 years ago, and I just did a little research on them, and I didn't think much of it. However, Dr. what is his name? Stephen Gundry. Dr. Stephen Gundry is the one who actually wrote a book called The Plant Paradox. And when he wrote this book, he actually concentrated on lectins and finding out how these things are actually dangerous to our physiology. And when I started reading and going through some of his lectures and then start looking at some of his videos, I realized this man knows what he's talking about. He used to be a traditional doctor, meaning that he used to give drugs. And he stopped doing that because he realized that the drugs didn't help anything. The same thing I'm trying to tell you guys that drugs don't help anything. So what he found out is that the plants evolved a special protection mechanism because they can't get up and run, because a plant can't fight back. The only thing it can do is, based on the predators that are around the plant that actually eat the plant, it evolves or constructs different poisons in the form of the outside skin of a certain plant, or the seeds inside the plant is injected or endowed with this poison based on the predator, and it's designed to make sick or kill the predator so that it will not eat the plant again. I thought that was quite ingenious. There was actually quite a horrible movie that one of my favorite stars was in a horrible movie. Mark Wahlberg was in a movie called The Happening. And in The Happening, human beings started offing themselves and just dying for no reason, committing suicide. And it was the plants in the movie ejecting poison into the air that was making the humans do this. Now, far-fetched, all right? They kind of took it a step further. Hollywood, right? But that was a truth to the way plants actually do things. So when I actually found this information from Dr. Stephen Gundry, I was just like, the correlation came right back to me, and I was like, this is amazing that a plant can actually do this. However, as amazing as it is, it's killing us, because anything that's seed or grain based, like rice and nuts and tomatoes. I was shocked to see tomatoes, and it's one of the highest toxin foods out there that has these lectins in it. But if you eliminate these foods from your diet, they protect you. All right, and so your internal system becomes almost bulletproof, invincible, untouchable. So the lectins from these plants are actually knocking down or killing, all right, our systems here. And I just don't know what could have been a better discovery at this point in time. Because now that we're talking about depression, I can see how lectins, which bind to sugar molecules and bind to the receptors on the outsides of your cells, you can see how diabetes is the #1 condition in America that's actually killing some people. All right, so digestive as far as a blood condition. So you see, when you know this stuff and you put it together and your brain starts clicking, you can see how the pathways intertwine. See, I'm a root cause analysis specialist. That's why I love getting more information, because now I can say, oh, I get it now. And you guys should be getting it too. You see, you guys, I should call you my pickles. Al, why should you call us pickles? All right, because you've been bathing in the juice of health and wellness. Okay, that was a little reach. Okay, but let's wrap this up here, because let's get to it. All right, first of all, I don't want you doing any drugs. Antidepressants, no. All right? Put that mess, that crap, that poison away. I don't want you putting that stuff in your mouth, because it's only going to make you worse, and you will not recover fully from it. You might even develop some other diseases, because remember, this is all a whole. Okay? Don't just think that when you take a pill, it's affecting one part of your body. It affects the whole. Okay? Now, let's get to the other thing here. We got comparisons. Do not compare your condition to anybody else's. Remember, you are unique in your bodily makeup, so do not compare yourself to other people. Finally, I want you to mineralize. You guys remember, I just told you about all those minerals, so go ahead and do them. And last but not least, I'm going to throw just a bonus on here at the end. Listen to some music. You see, music has a way of changing a person's complete outlook on life. There are so many songs out there about being happy. There's even a song by Pharrell Williams called Happy. All right, and one of the biggest songs of the year, because I think people were down, and when that song came out, it just triggered something in us that wanted to let out those endorphins. All right, that serotonin, that dopamine, to make us happy, feel good, and things like that. So don't forget the simple stuff, like turning on a good song. Right? Listen to some old school music, rocking out till you don't care. You know, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that will bring you back to a state where you might have been thinking of maybe ending your life. And we don't even want it to go that far. So turn on some good music, flush out your colon, use some of those supplements I told you about to repair your colon and repair your body as a whole. Release some of that serotonin from your digestive system, and maybe, just maybe, that depression will go away real soon. I'll talk to you later. That's it. This is Alvin J, the most passionate non-doctor on the internet. I'll see you later. Peace.